Hey guys, Subtle here. I've had the urge to make my own sketchbook recently, but I was remembering one of my art classes back in high school, and my teacher had us create our own sketchbooks, but he also had us make the covers with watercolor paper and cardboard so that we could actually paint our own covers as well. So I wanted to go ahead and do a sample of that for you guys, and to be honest, this isn't the same way my teacher did it back in high school because I don't actually remember how we did it back then. But I was looking at some tutorials for sketchbook making and kind of came up with my own idea for how to put this watercolor paper onto this cardboard and make it into a cover. So this is the result of my first attempt, and I like it, so I'm going to use it for my sketchbook. So I'm going to walk through what I did to create this cover, and then I was going to go ahead and paint what I want it to look like for this video. So I won't be walking through the entire sketchbook, so if you want a sketchbook tutorial, I will leave some sample links below. That is not the point of this video. I was just going to make the covers themselves, show you how you can make your own cover so that you can paint it yourself, and then I was going to go ahead and paint mine. I'm going to be putting rough Arches watercolor paper, 140 pounds, and that is what I'm going to be using for my actual pages inside the sketchbook. However, after I took all of these pages out, trash that, won't need it, I'm going to be using the back of that little booklet, the Arches booklet, and this is going to be the cardboard that I'm going to use for the sketchbook cover. You could probably use whatever you want, like cardboard wise, a cardboard box, Amazon box, whatever you want to. This is really nice thick material. I'm going to go ahead and just use it instead of trashing it. So for the watercolor paper that I'm going to be using to surround the cover itself, I'm going to be using this piece of paper here, which is actually comes from another Arches watercolor pad. This one is cold pressed, 140 pounds, and this one is actually a larger size. So this one is 10 inches by 14 inches. My other ones that I'm using for the actual paper that I'm going to put in the sketchbook is a 9-inch by 12-inch. So just, you know, something a little bit larger so that I can fold it around the cardboard piece. For other materials, I'm going to be using these little scissors thingies, and then I'm going to use just something that I can use to crease the paper. I've got a glue brush and some glue that's good for paper, cardboard, the like, and I've got this awl that I'm going to be using to poke holes into this, which will be useful when I actually go to buying the sketchbook. And of course, my watercolors and brushes. And last thing is a ruler, and it's helpful if you have some water and paper towels just to kind of wipe up any excess glue that you might end up with. And that's all I need for the cover. If you're actually making a sketchbook, you're going to need a few more things. So the first thing that I'm going to do is prep the paper with the board so that the paper is in a good foldable condition. So I am going to try to center this board on the paper as best as I can. It doesn't have to be perfect, but I did the best I can. And then I'm going to take my pencil and I'm just going to mark these corners. And then I'm going to take my clippers and I'm going to just clip these corners here. Try to get it so that it's up to the board. It's not perfect, but it is good enough. Alright, it's just about squared away. Now what I'm going to do is fold these edges and then crease them. And that should give me a nice shape to work with. And this paper, guys, is thick, so it's not going to be the easiest thing in the world to fold. Okay. So now this paper is prepped. Should be good to go. The next thing that I'm going to do is punch the holes that I want to punch into this. So that'll really depend on what you want your sketchbook to look like. I am trying to, where's my pencil? There it is. I am trying to get one that's facing this way with its crease up here, with its binding up here, so that I can open it this way. The next thing I'm going to do is make sure that I know where the holes are when I am putting this cover on. So I'm going to align the cover kind of how I want it to go with the cardboard. And then I am going to try to punch some of these holes without hurting myself. So that the paper lines up with the cardboard. Alright, so now that the holes are in the paper, I'll be able to punch it back through. Now what I need to do is glue the paper to this cardboard. So I'm going to take my glue and spread it all across this paper. I don't want to make it too crazy because I don't want glue seeping out through the edges if possible. Try not to completely soak this watercolor paper. However, I do want it to coat the whole thing. And I'm going to take my glue brush. I'm just going to spread it all around. That should be enough, really. The only thing I'm going to do is add little dots to these corners, because I know the corners kind of have a hard time staying down. So they're going to require some extra pressing, I already know. Alright, so I'm going to put my brush down real quick. Okay. And I'm putting the ugly side with this, where the paper had torn off. I'm facing that towards the paper, so it'll end up being hidden. Alright, drop that in there and move it around while it's still wet to get it so it's fully centered in the paper as best I can. And now press down. It seems like it's stuck well enough. The corners don't seem to be peeling up, so that's good. So what I'm going to go ahead and do next is worry about the flappies. I'm going to do the sides first. Personal preference. Go ahead and coat these whole things. Now, because these things are so difficult to bend, may need a little bit extra glue. Just a little bit. We're not trying to saturate it too much. Just enough so that it's fully covered. Alright. Make sure I got those corners good. I'm going to go ahead and fold it over. It's going to be a little tricky. It's not going to want to stay. So felt it impress really well. Good enough. Good enough. Time for the next flappy. Give it a few minutes to dry, and then I'm going to come back through and poke through those holes. Alright, I've finished poking the holes. I come on through either side. So now my covers are both, let me get the other one. My covers are both ready to go to use to actually make my sketchbook. Well, almost. Last step is to actually paint them. And the reason I'm painting them now and not after I put everything together is because I'm kind of worried about the water seeping through these holes here. I don't want them to seep through and affect the watercolor paper that's going into the actual sketchbook. So I'm going to go ahead and paint what I want to paint on these here first before I put the book together. So what I think I want to do is, since I've been really enjoying neurographica stuff lately, I'm going to make these covers neurographica inspired. So here we go. So I was trying to go outside to do my painting on these covers, and because it was such a gorgeous day, but my iPad overheated, so I lost most of my footage. Oops. Now it's time to put this thing together. This was a mess, guys. My hands hurt so bad afterwards. And these covers did not turn out perfect, but that's okay because the whole point of a sketchbook to me is to be inspired, to practice and try something new, and to make mistakes. So if your sketchbook is too beautiful, you're never going to want to use it for fear of messing up. And I am constantly messing up in my sketchbook. I wouldn't have it any other way. Alright, that's it for me. Have a good week, guys. Talk to you later.